Well, with all the allegations off the court, it's easy to forget that there's plenty of action currently going on in Melbourne. Our reporter Adam Reid has news of one or two upsets on day 2 at the Australian Open. Adam.
That's absolutely true, Matt. And we'll start with a huge shock in the men's draw as Rafael Nadal is out of the Australian Open, losing in the opening round of the event for the first time in his career. Well, it really was a 5-set thriller inside the Rod Laver Arena, which saw Nadal lose out to fellow Spaniard Fernando Verdasco in a match that lasted a staggering 4 hours and 40 minutes. A tight first set was won on a tie-break by Verdasco, but back came the 2009 champion, winning the next two, thanks to some classic Nadal rallies, as we can see here. Well, back came Verdasco by winning the fourth, 7-4 on another tie-break, and he was actually behind in the decider before moving ahead in the 5th game. Well, Nadal seemed to be the more tired man after that, not winning another game and losing the final set by 6-2. Well, another big name seed was upset in the women's draw as well, as 7-time Grand Slam winner Venus Williams was beaten in straight sets by this woman, Great Britain's Johanna Konta. Now, we mentioned to you yesterday that Konta was relishing the chance to play Williams in the Melbourne Heat, and she didn't disappoint with a comprehensive 6-4, 6-2 victory. Now, Williams did have some heavy strapping on her thigh, and she really struggled to deal with her opponent, who said afterwards that even a Venus Williams on one leg, she was still an incredible player. However, the British #1 woman showed no mercy, and she raced through the match in just 79 minutes, winning the second set 6-2, and that's not really too bad going for her Australian Open debut. Well, the only other Brit still in the singles competition, maybe predictably, is Andy Murray. He was also in dominant form on his way to a straight sets win over the German teenager Alexander Zverev. Now, Murray lost just 6 games on his way to a 6-1, 6-2, 6-3 win and faced only one break point, winning 82% of points on his first serve. Zverev was possibly suffering with the Melbourne Heat, needing a 6-minute timeout in just the second game to deal with a nosebleed, unfortunately. The first 2 sets only lasted just over an hour, with Murray breaking the German twice in each of them, making an impressive 11 winners to take the second, as we can see here. Now, Zverev put up a bit more fight in the third, but Murray had far too much for him, and was delighted to have the match done in straight sets. He now faces the man with the fastest serve in tennis, Australian Sam Groth, in round 2. Elsewhere in the men's draw, there was a meeting between 2 very popular players on tour. 2008 finalist Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, celebrating in his famous pose here, beat the 2006 finalist Margus Baghdatis in 4 sets. Now, the first 2 sets were shared, but the Frenchman won the following 2, striking 13 aces and 39 winners to beat the Cypriot. So we can just see confirmation here of Tsonga's win, and he'll now go on to face the Australian 18-year-old Omar Janitska in the second round. Stan Wawrinka's passage was helped through by the retirement of Dmitry Tursunov when he was 2 sets up. There was wins also in the women's draw for 3rd seed Garbine Muguruza, and also at the bottom there you could see Anna Ivanovic making her way through. Now, Tuesday's action was wrapped up on Rod Laver by this man, Lleyton Hewitt. His long goodbye before retirement goes on after he defeated fellow Aussie James Duckworth in straight sets. Now, this will be Hewitt's last Grand Slam before he calls time on an illustrious career, and wouldn't he just love to add an Australian Open title to his collection? It wouldn't be a Hewitt match if it wasn't something of a battle. He took the first set on a tie-break before a more comfortable-looking second and taking the match 6-4 in the third. So that just about wraps up the action for Tuesday. On to Wednesday, and the top seeds are all back in action. Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic are both up on the Rod Laver Arena, while Maria Sharapova kicks things off on the main show court. Now, Roger Federer is also in action against Ukrainian Alexander Dolgopolov. Now, Matt, so an incredible Tuesday wrapped up in its totality. Now, who knows what Wednesday will have in store?
Yes,